Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about 29 degrees Taurus, and yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing off as well, 29 degrees Taurus can represent the full culmination of the sign. This can give very powerful, inflated Taurus energy. The person may have very strong, exceptional powers of perseverance, latent energy, endurance, and persistence. The endurance especially more with the Ascendant and perhaps the Sun. But also on a negative side, though, it could also give very enlarged obstinacy, bullheadedness, and materialism. But at the same time, one could be very exceptionally shrewd in financial matters. This could be, and also another negative side, the person in some cases could be very avaricious. I knew someone in school that likely had his sun at 29 degrees Taurus, depending on time of birth, and he struck me as somebody that was really supremely materialistic. I mean, he would occasionally make a crack about me, having limited funds or clothing or what have you. So anyway, now at the same time, 29 degrees Taurus can sometimes indicate eye afflictions such as early eye deterioration. There can be a number of events in this person's life that may cause despondency and tribulation, sorrow, and really Taurus can be notorious for having a very long, have a very protracted memory, of being able to retain a memory of an injury for a very protracted and prolonged period. By the 29th degree, this could be very emphasized and really intensified. This could be about really strong grudge holding, and also too, I mean, this person that had likely as the 29 degrees Taurus sun, I mean, he was like a perpetual enemy of me during middle school and high school. One time I got into a fight with him in the lunchroom, and I believe it was the 6th grade, and I had won the fight. But it was something that he never apparently wanted to forget about or was willing to really reconcile with me on. So anyway, getting back this 29 degree Taurus, it could also be an upheaval and crisis position. 29 degrees can be about crisis and upheaval. Now, this person may be in constant or consistent crisis mode as far as monetary matters go. And the situations, it could be something where there could be a lot of situation with finances that could have a lot of fluctuations. They could be dissipating at one time, and then in panic mode, and then it could be a period of recovery, and it could kind of go back and forth as far as monetary matters go. I see this really, I mean, this 29th degree Taurus, I mean, I think at times could be like a malevolent or nefarious degree, and I'll elaborate a little more on that in an example I'm going to use toward the end of the video. Now, again, there's someone I had known that likely has the sun at 29 degrees Taurus, depending on birth time. This is interesting. There was an online report about him that had stated he had apparently used a chemical from his dentistry for some kind of illegal distribution. I would say presumably to sell. That would be the only thing I could think of. Now, I don't know that 100%, but that's likely, I would say, what it was probably used for. Now, this suggests he may have been in some financial crisis or dilemma that led him perhaps to doing this. And again, the reason I think this is a good example, because 29 degrees Taurus, I believe, can be a degree of some monetary upheavals and crisis. This could be, going back to him, this tells me that he may have been in some financial crisis or dilemma that may have led him to doing this. Now, he also, interestingly enough, the same person has Neptune in Scorpio at 29 degrees, the full culmination of Neptune. Perhaps this indicates a powerful need for chemicals in this case, and perhaps obtained through surreptitious manner. And it also makes a tight opposition to his likely 29th degree Taurus sun. So anyway, as far as Sabian symbols go, the 29th degree of Taurus can indicate a lot of cases, one may be born into affluence and may be tied into a very prosperous family. This could be very fortuitous for having the amenities and necessities of life that one needs. But at the same time, on a negative side, getting things accomplished may be very arduous and time-consuming. And also, too, this could also be a degree of much rumination, and sometimes it could give a recalcitrant and even belligerent nature. Now, also, too, when you look at 29 degrees Taurus, this can also manifest perhaps in someone thinking they may never have enough money. There might be this incessant need for constantly wanting more. And if this is, say, if this is the Sun in Taurus at 29 degrees, this could very strongly be tied in to one's basic character and wants. Now, if this is the Moon in Taurus, this could be more on an unconscious, subconscious level, and really in this prodigious need for or expanded need for prodigious affluence perhaps can be tied into one's emotional needs, but could also be a point of crisis that could really affect the person on a more emotional level. So, and also financial fluctuations may cause emotional turmoil. Now, if this is the Ascendant, this could be very strongly connected with physical health issues, crisis. It could be some issues connected. A person might have numerous issues associated with the throat and the neck, and this powerful Taurus energy at 29 degrees could be expressed very outwardly and blatantly, because the Ascendant, of course, is the outer demeanor, and it is connected with one's physical body. Now, also, it's important to look at the house that this is in one's natal chart, as this could impact the delineation. Now, if it's the Ascendant, of course, it's the first house. But let's say you have it in the Sun or the Moon, 29 degrees Taurus. Now, let's say, for example, if it falls in the 12th house, this could be this might indicate perhaps that tribulation connected with finances may be tied in to hidden adversaries, say people posing as friends but really using the person for money, as an example. Now, this is something where you have predominantly also the aspects are important as well, because if you have predominantly good aspects to this point, then you're going to likely have more of the positive energy of this 29th degree come out. Now, if it has mainly adverse aspects, however, this could be something where you might have a lot more of that negative energy come out. So anyway, but again, this is something, and the negative energy, as an example, can be very avaricious, materialistic, stubborn, intransigent, greedy qualities may very well be coming out with a lot of adverse aspects to it. Now, let's take an example of specific aspects. Now, let's say someone has this degree, 29 degrees Taurus, making that sextile or trine to one's Jupiter. Well, this could be very fortuitous and lucky, perhaps for generating income and sustaining oneself, and being very shrewd on an economical, financial, in a financial way. As far as financial matters go, very astute as far as finances may go. Now, anyway, let's take another example. Let's say there is an adverse aspect by this 29 degrees of Taurus made by Pluto. Let's say it makes a square, opposition, or even an inconjunct to your Pluto. Now, this could accentuate and exacerbate perhaps perpetual financial crisis and upheavals, and it might be where you might succumb to perhaps some financial manipulation. Now, as far as predictive astrology goes, let's say, this could be the end or completion of a monetary or financial period. It could be something that maybe something you valued strongly might come to an end. Could also mark the end of something that required a lot of patience, persistence, and perseverance, and maybe even something that had a lot of like the stubborn and obstinate quality to it. Now, let's say, for example, that if the transit Sun in 29 degrees Taurus hits one's 7th house, well, this could reflect perhaps a stubborn legal matter that may come to a culmination or a conclusion, or maybe a battle with an open adversary that was very that was really a stubborn one, or one that really it was one that just simply didn't seem like it wanted to go away, may come to an end. Now, I want to get to an example of an infamous person that has 29 degrees Taurus prominent in his chart. Now, serial killer Arthur Shawcross has 29 degrees Taurus rising. It's a B rating on Astro.com, though. But sadly, I mean, I see this as he used that powerful 29 degrees Taurus energy. Sadly, it might have helped him commit these heinous murders with this strong, powerful premeditative ability, very calculating, plotting energy, all this determination, persistence, and in a very methodical and deliberate manner. And of course, I mean, 29 degrees could really give I see it as giving a very inflated and distorted energy in connection with the sign. Now, also, too, he has Pluto in glory-seeking Leo in the 4th house. So the way I think this might have manifested with him, unfortunately, was that perhaps this was an indicator that he felt at home with killing for notoriety and recognition. Now, he also, sadly, he has 3 planets. I mean, he has 3 planets in the 12th house of mental illness, including Mars and the Moon in volatile Aries. Mars is at a critical degree, 26 degrees. He also has the ruler of the 3rd house in the 12th house of mental illness. So this is another indicator perhaps for some mental illness. Now, I don't know if he was actually officially diagnosed with it, but I would not be surprised if he had some kind of mental illness that was going on with him, because there just seems something very warped and deranged, of course, about his actions. So I would say I don't know that for a fact, but I'm sure in all likelihood he had some issues. So anyway, he also has another thing, too, to top it off. On his 3rd house cusp, he has, it's at 13 degrees Cancer, which, of course, is a critical degree, and you have a very emotional sign on the 3rd house of rational thinking in the zodiac sign Cancer, and at a critical degree, so we can do the math, so to speak, on that. So, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for 29 degrees Taurus. Stay tuned next time, where I will be talking about 29 degrees Gemini. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel, but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.